This video introduces some strategies for using free web resources to find adjudicative materials issued by U.S. federal agencies. The examples in the video are simply illustrative. If you'd like to explore the sites presented, you may want to pause the video periodically. Let's start with some background. This Library of Congress Research Guide on Administrative Law has a section on administrative decisions. If you want to get back to this guide later, you can find it through your favorite search engine. You can bookmark the URL at the top of the page. Or, my favorite strategy is to find it through the Drake Law Library Research Guides, a free web resource that can increase your research efficiency. This guide provides a few important background notes. First, what kinds of things might you be able to find? The types of administrative decisions issued by agencies may include guidance, opinions, rulings, memoranda, orders, directives, decisions, or arbitrations. Also, you may hear the term ALJ, which refers to Administrative Law Judge. Second, where can you get these materials? Unfortunately, as the guide notes, there is no single source for accessing all adjudicative materials, and researchers may need to review a variety of resources to find a particular document, if indeed it was published and made publicly available. The guide shares some ways you might be able to find administrative decisions. Because we are focusing on free options, we will look at the websites of federal agencies. You could find the agency website you want through a search engine or a directory. I am going to click on the federal agency link here, which opens the A to Z index of U.S. government departments and agencies maintained by USA.gov. This index works best if you know the name of the department or agency you need. If you're not sure, the United States Government Manual, which is also linked from the Drake Administrative Law Research Guide, is a useful source for getting agency descriptions. Let's say I'm looking for the Department of Justice, or DOJ. I could browse alphabetically by clicking a letter, or I could enter a word or phrase in the search box instead. The search box also can find agencies by their acronyms, so I'm going to enter DOJ. I then press enter or click on the magnifying glass to execute my search. If there were multiple results, I would see a list of options, but here I have just one result, the U.S. Department of Justice. This page shows basic contact information, plus links to the main website, forms, popular services, the parent agency, and related agencies. In most cases, I would just click on the main website to open that. However, every agency website is unique, so rather than just looking at the DOJ site, I'm going to pull examples from additional government sites, all of which I could find using the USA.gov A to Z agency index. Again, these are random examples simply selected to illustrate how you might find information on an agency website. I'm going to demonstrate 3 general strategies for finding adjudicative materials on agency websites. First, using the search features. Second, browsing menus. And third, checking a sitemap or index. First, we can try the site search option. If available, this option will frequently be near the top of the page, often in the center or on the right, as seen in the following examples. We'll look more in depth at how the search works using FDA site as an example. So imagine I'm searching for guidance documents. I click on search. I then input guidance in the search box and click on the magnifying glass to execute the search. Note that this very simple search brought up over 20,000 results. However, at the very top of the results is a suggested page, Search for FDA Guidance Documents. I click on this and see the FDA offers a much more sophisticated search tool for finding FDA guidance documents. The page offers more information about guidance documents. It also offers options to browse or search. Using this search feature, I'm not searching across the entire FDA site, I'm just searching among their guidance documents. I can also use a variety of filters to make my search more specific. Finally, this page offers a list of recent FDA guidance documents at the bottom. Like the FDA, many agencies might offer a more sophisticated search interface for different kinds of legal documents they issue, and using the very general search screen available from their homepage is one way to find these interfaces. The next strategy we will look at is using website menus to find content by category. These will typically appear either at the top of the site or on the left. Sometimes, as with the FDA site pictured, you will have to click on Menus to see the available options. Oftentimes, though, at least the top-level menu options will be immediately obvious, as in the other examples on this slide. You can see that on the EPA site, Laws and Regulations is the top-level menu. However, other times there will not be a Laws and Regulations link immediately visible. Take your best guess as to which menus might be most useful. One option that is frequently helpful will be an About menu or something similar. The OSHA example has a more specific menu option of standards, and this includes a Law and Regulations section. This slide shows 3 screenshots from the HUD website. Somewhat similar to the About Us approach, here there is a top menu link called Program Offices. Another potentially useful link on the HUD site is Resources. Resources is a term that many other sites will use too. In addition to top menus, be sure to look for useful categories at the bottom of the home page. For instance, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has top menu choices that sound useful for finding adjudicative materials, enforcement, and compliance. The bottom menu provides a link to another potentially useful page, Administrative Adjudication. The last strategy we will discuss is checking for a sitemap or index. This type of link often has A to Z in its name. The bottom of the screen is another good place to search for the A to Z link. Sometimes this kind of A to Z listing will be under a main menu. For instance, the DOJ has an alphabetical listing under the menu Our Agency. From that page, I can click the part of the DOJ that issues opinions. Here I'm going to click on Office of Legal Counsel. Then, if I click on Opinions, I can see that I can access Attorney General opinions and other advisory opinions issued in response to requests from different governmental units, and I can look for them by date and title or by volume. Although each site is different, they often share some of the same layout and terminology. As you explore a federal agency site, remember these 3 general strategies for finding information, as well as these common terms. It might take some trial and error, but you will often find what you need. If not, be sure to ask a librarian for help. Thank you for watching.